Good morning, guys. The late Reverend Jesse Jackson was a fixture in Democratic politics whose self-stated mission was to help people find common ground. His family announced his death in a statement saying Jackson died peacefully this morning, surrounded by his family. His unwavering commitment to justice, equality, and human rights helped shape a global movement for freedom and dignity. A cause of death was not mentioned, but Jackson had been dealing with several health issues. He was hospitalized in November. Jackson had been diagnosed with Parkinson's disease in 2013. In April, that diagnosis changed to progressive supranuclear palsy, a neurological disorder. Born in Greenville, South Carolina on October 8, 1941, Jackson gained prominence in the 60s during the civil rights movement. He was seen as a protege of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Jackson's age and ambition did cause some friction with King, but the two leaders reconciled before King's assassination in 1968. Jackson ran for president twice, in 1984 and 1988, but he failed to win the Democratic nomination. He delivered a fiery speech at the 1984 Democratic National Convention where he campaigned on the idea of a rainbow coalition seeking a more inclusive Democratic Party. It was the basis for the advocacy organization he launched with a similar name called the Rainbow Push Coalition, which continues to build on Jackson's work for social justice. Jackson also served as an international mediator, helping to release prisoners in Cuba, U.S. soldiers held hostage in Kosovo, and journalists in Liberia. He's received multiple accolades for his work. Former President Bill Clinton awarded him the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2000. Public observances will be held in Chicago with final funeral arrangements yet to be announced. Guys, back to you.
Do you regret the links that there have been? You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it, to me, is not something that...
And she's popped. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not sure why we did some Reverend Jesse Jackson news clip. I'm just asking the producers, like, why? I get that that's breaking this morning, but whatever. I see the comment section popping off over Jesse Jackson. And rightfully so. What's the rule on this program? Jesse Jackson did die this morning. The rule on this program is that we are different from the animals. Okay? We're different from the animals. Okay. ALX says, next time I'll do Savannah Guthrie. Right. Okay. So it is not actually a news desert. It's a very interesting time. The Clintons are finally being pressed about the Epsteins. But yeah, I mean, I guess the breaking news as of this morning is that Jesse Jackson is dead. He lived a long life. He lived a life doing a lot of things that I totally disagree with. Complete and total race hustler. Obviously, a lot of damage, enormous amount of damage to the country and the fabric of the nation itself, all the way through to Barack Obama's presidency, which just sought to effectively manipulate the American people along race lines and to try and break us off into sectarian groups in order to create the type of violence that you see all across the rest of the globe. And it's terrible, you know. It's awful what they've done. It's called race communism. It stems from critical theory. It's just Marxism. It just uses the Marxist frame. Didn't mean to go here this morning, but since I saw that, I didn't even know. I wasn't even going to talk about Jesse Jackson because, whatever. But what his ideology is evil. Okay, and that's worth saying. You separate these things, right? So you can separate these things. Since we used a Jesse Jackson quote, might as well just go there. You separate these things. You separate the human being, like Joe Biden. He has cancer. He has terminal cancer. That's what they've said. He has very, very late stage terminal cancer. You haven't seen Joe Biden out in public a lot. Bill Clinton, we're going to talk a lot about Bill Clinton on this show. We have Roger Stone on the show. He's like kind of the expert on the Clintons. And we're working on getting Liz Crokin. We've been trying to book her. It's been a lot of back and forth. These are experts on the Clintons. Bill Clinton has very, very poor health. Bill Clinton was seen wandering around with a defibrillator. Bill Clinton, not in good shape. So you can separate the human element from the political element. The political element is fair game. It's open to debate. You can, because I'll debate Jesse Jackson and his history with race communism, which is what the guy did. The Rainbow Push Coalition is race communism. You have to talk about these things because the ideas live on. Karl Marx's ideas live on. What's the single worst person to live over the last couple hundred years? Well, it was absolutely Karl Marx. There is no doubt. But what about Hitler? Shut up. Like, seriously, stack the bodies, all right? Stack the bodies. Don't even give me that. Like, communism kills so many more people. This is so much more pain. Now, all of our professors in schools and the people who write the textbooks, they're all communists. Jesse Jackson's a communist. Barack Obama. These people, they're currently active and running things. You know, you can sort of like see that through line of Bolshevism straight to Jeffrey Epstein. Why they're all in panic right now. So the ideas live on, so the ideas are open to critique. Just don't ever wish harm on someone. That's the rule of this show. That's how we separate ourselves from the left. That's how we separate ourselves from the animals, okay? So the ideas are open for critique because, again, they can live forever. If Karl Marx died, I don't know when. When did Karl Marx die? 1800s, right? Karl Marx dies in the 1800s. Like, how terrible. He died in 1883. He died, this should be like a national holiday. March 14th should be a national holiday. Day Karl Marx died. March 14th, 1883. A glorious day. I mean, maybe that's the one thing I will like absolutely celebrate. This guy was like completely evil. He's a filthy, dirty atheist. He hated the Christians. He puts in the front pages of the Communist Manifesto that the number one thing you got to do is destroy the family, destroy the church. And that's how you destroy capitalism. That's how then you can seize all of industry. This is like, people forget about that. Seize the means of production. Oh, how do you do that exactly? Let's see. Kill all the babies, cuck all the families, destroy the church, tear down every steeple, burn every Bible. That's Marxism. That's what these people believe. The way Marx did it, sorry, it's like the Jesse Jackson homage like sent me off on a tangent. I saw the chat popping off on it. I don't want you guys to think that like we're sitting here to venerate, Jesse Jackson's legacy. The way Marx saw it was that you are able to take over society by pitting the classes against each other. You know this. This is just like common critical theory. You take the poor. There's more poor people than there are rich people. And then you show them Jeffrey Epstein and you say, here are your rich people. And everyone revolts. And then if you are able to manipulate that revolution correctly, like they did in Russia, you're able to then take over everything. And you become the dictator. You become far worse than the Romanovs ever were. You become far worse than the ruling class ever was. You become so much more ruthless and so much more cruel in order to keep that power, in order to control everyone. It really is truly God. It doesn't see people as individuals created by God. It doesn't see us with any inalienable rights. All power comes from the state. All power emanates from the end of a gun. That's a quote from Mao Zedong. I am the state and the state is God. This is a Stalin-esque quote, right? So the state is everything. Javier Milei says, I wipe my ass with the state, right? Like the difference between that and the libertarian ideology is that the state is nothing, right? State is everything versus the state is nothing. But ultimately, these people saw the state as God. What Jesse Jackson did and what Cloward Piven does and what critical race theory does is they swap that paradigm because they realized that too many people were too happy in America. Too many people, the dirty old communists of like the 1950s, post-war Reconstruction communists, realized that like communism ain't going to work in America because even the poor people are really happy here. Even the poor people, the downtrodden people, like even they're like chilling out. They're having a great time. Like you ever met dudes who like just go camping all day? You have an unemployed friend like this, like texting you on a Wednesday? Like, how you been living, bro? But he's like having a great time, going on hikes and stuff. Okay, cool. Like the communists realized they would never be able to take over America because there wasn't actually the serfdom class that they had in Europe and in Russia. So they have to do something else. They had to find something else. Well, what is that? The color of your skin. So they went they went full retard. And they're like, hey, how about we break it down to like skin color? And then we're going to, grab me that AOC. Please grab me that AOC clip from yesterday about talking about white people. It's great. great like tie in here. So we'll like start like instead of like poor and rich, because poor people can actually get more money. You know, like rich people can become poor. People are always moving in and out. You know, people are always rising and falling in America. Old Hawthorne quote. So how about this? We'll just do the thing that like won't change, which is the color of your skin, unless you're Michael Jackson. But like typically, the color of your skin don't change. Okay, I can get sunburned a little bit, but the color of my skin like goes kind of back to the way the color it's always been. That's the way God makes you. So we'll use that. That will be the immovable object. That will be the immovable thing that we will use in order to create frictions and horrors untold inside of America. And then what we'll do is we'll give these people special privileges. We'll piss off all the classes. We'll piss off every race. We'll pit every race against each other. And Jesse Jackson was part of that. He was part of that op. So is Al Sharpton, Barack Obama. You know, you could tell this. Sorry for the rant here, but like I promise we'll move on. You can tell because Barack Obama, after his first term, and please do not drag me for saying this, but it's like almost like after Barack Obama's first term, you know, they shoved through Obamacare, supermajority of Republicans in the Senate and in the House, 60 plus votes. Everything was moving against Barack Obama. There was like this, almost like this, like we now have our black president, right? So now we can just move on from the whole race thing. It's like things have gotten so good. Everybody has a Michael Jordan poster, Shaquille O'Neal poster on their wall, whatever. Like race, not a thing. Don't worry about it. Don't ever need to make it a thing ever again in society. We just live in harmony. We're all Americans. There's like this moment with Barack Obama. It was like at the end of his first term. I'm not saying he deserves really any credit to it, but he wasn't like a race antagonist. This is the guy at that point. He was the guy who runs and saying there's no white America, there's no black America, there's just the United States of America. This is what he says. There's no red or blue America, there's just the United States of America. Great line, by the way, if you believed it. It's a great line. It's a great line. If you believed it, but he didn't believe it. Because, and this is how you can tell that, like, and I think a lot of this stuff goes straight up to the CIA. I think a lot of this stuff goes straight into the intel agencies. They need us fighting amongst each other. They need to create friction amongst each other. They need us hating each other so that we don't hate them. So we let them get away with Epstein. That's what they need. You can see this perfectly yesterday with AOC. AOC is doing this like absolute ass hattery tour throughout Europe. She's at the Munich Security Conference. And it's amazing. You know, there's so many humiliating clips of her. Like, they must not teach geography in bartending school. And she says a lot of really dumb things. She doesn't know where the equator is. She has like no idea what Taiwan is. It's really bad. It's been a really bad rollout for her. But here's something that she said that was just remarkable. We're going to talk about Hillary Clinton at the same conference. But AOC yesterday goes, there's no such thing as white people. This is the end result of that ideology. The end result of the race Marxism ideology is to do exactly what the Marxists have always done, which is to create second-class citizens. They want to create a new Holodomor. They want to create a new genocide. They want that genocide to be of white people. They openly talk about it. They want white people to be subservient slaves to them. Wouldn't be the first time there was mass white slavery. It's happened before in history, and that's what they want. Ultimately, their communist revolution will come through race antagonism to the point of white people being second-class citizens. Does that sound crazy to you? Listen to this. Here we go.
There's a very big difference between whiteness and national, like your actual culture, right? Whiteness is an imaginary thing. Being German is real. Oh. Being Italian is real.
Wow.
Being English. These are rich cultural heritages that are based on values, and they are so much a part of what make our cultures and our societies what they are.
Wow, isn't that amazing? So only American white people aren't deserving of personhood. Isn't that something? What a remarkable thing. What an incredible admission. This is why you have to do that through line through Jesse Jackson, like directly to this. This is the end ideology. The end ideology is that white Americans, but also whites in their own countries in Europe, deserve no rights. They don't have personhood. Now, would she ever say that about blacks? You know, it's like amazing. AOC is constantly going on about people of color, brown people. She mentions it in every single speech. Brown people like me. She says it. Puerto Rican, right? She says it. Some of the AOC's like funniest lines. It's like when she's doing her little accent. Can we get that one? Can we do it too? You know, and AOC is trying to speak Spanish. She doesn't actually speak Spanish. It's amazing. She like says stuff with like funny accents, like the way that, like if you're it's like a 65-year-old like, you know, pensioner, drunk lady at like a Mexican restaurant. You had too many 2-for-1 margaritas, and you're trying to pronounce stuff on the menu. She says stuff with like a funny accent, but she doesn't actually speak Spanish. But she would never say that about black people. Black people don't exist. Could you imagine AOC taking the same framework and putting it up against black people don't exist? You know, there are people from the Congo. There are people from Somalia and Botswana, but black people don't exist. Those are individual cultures. Black people don't exist. Could you imagine AOC saying this? The exact same framework, the exact same architecture, the exact same equation that she's applying there to whites. The reason she can get away with saying it to whites, the reason Don Lemon can get away with storming a white church because they're white supremacists, is because they want to see us as second-class citizens. There's only one group of people that is totally permissible and in fact encouraged to be bigoted against, and that is white Christians in this country, white American Christians. And Jesse Jackson, to his eternal shame, was absolutely part of that dehumanization. And that's always what the Marxist does. That is completely what this is. I disavow it. It's totally the core and essence of evil. Do we have AOC? I do. Here we go. Okay, I'll listen to this.
Donald Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud. Liable for sexual abuse. Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too. When he talks about rapists...
We have so much fun on this channel. We have so much fun on this channel. This is great.
He's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too.
All right, enough. We got Roger Stone coming up. We got to be serious. Come on. Yeah. Producer Danny's like, I think this is better than Bad Bunny. Please go on tour with Bad Bunny. Okay. All right. Goodness gracious. What is that? A 20-minute rant? I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, boy. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I just like the Jesse Jackson thing triggered me. I get it, ALX. I get it. It's not a lot of news right now. I understand, bro. I understand. Today is Tuesday, February 17th, 2026. There is a lot of news, though. Hillary Clinton is freaking out about being grilled on Epstein. She's lying again because her mouth is moving. We have Roger Stone, who's a Clinton expert, on the show to talk about it. Another transgender mass shooting shocks the nation. Oh, boy. Wow. It's almost like giving the most mentally unstable people in the entire country, hopping them up on a bunch of psychotics, medicine that literally is proven to alter your brain chemistry. That's the point of it. That's like a really bad idea. And we should stop it. Yeah. My name is Benny Johnson, and this is The Benny Show. If you want to not take lives, whether it's like the Epstein style, or whether it's like the horrible mass shooting style, or whether it's the style of an actual genocide. You know, it's funny, we talk about race communism here, but the joke's on them because so many of them are like pro-choice. but an actual genocide of black people is the abortion clinic. That's a matter of fact. The vast majority of abortions in this country are black children. Something to the effect of, and I need to get some AI to check these statistics, something to the effect of like 60 million black children have been aborted. You know, that's an entire generation. That's an entire population of a nation, you know, that you've like killed. So like there's your actual genocide. You want to talk about your genocide? There's your genocide. Stop being so obsessed with the slavery practice that pretty much every nation and people practiced throughout all time, that America actually put an end to. It was the only nation to actually fight a war over it and stop it, right, on Christian principles. Stop being obsessed with that and start being obsessed with like the actual black genocide, which is abortion. Anyway, Preborn, ladies and gentlemen, is a partner of the show today. 80,000, that's how many unborn babies were rescued last year. 80,000 saved thanks to the faithful supporters of Preborn every single day. Thousands of women. Here's some devastating lie that abortion is their only way out, their only option. They're totally alone. There is no hope. It's totally evil. Babies are in the image of God. Babies are created in the image of God. As somebody who just, went to an ultrasound myself. This image on the screen, an ultrasound image, is the most powerful image that any woman can see and any family can see. It's a sacred life meant to be protected. And this is what Preborn does. Preborn pays for ultrasounds. When a mother chooses life, ladies and gentlemen, that's Preborn helping, once again, to save a baby's life. So you should consider assisting in this divine connection. For $28, you can provide a life-saving ultrasound. This can be one of the biggest baby-saving years in history. Call pound 250 and say the word baby. That's pound 250. So dial pound 250 and say baby, or visit preborn.com/Benny, preborn.com/Benny to save a child's life today. Something that hits really close to home. I want to jump over here. Sorry for the sort of whatever you want to call that, the weave. I'm not exactly sure what it is. But I want to jump over here to exposing precisely what is, they're trying to get you to be distracted from, like, everything. They'll do everything. I couldn't believe it this weekend when Obama tried the alien op on us. Aliens! Ah! Right as the Jeffrey Epstein news cycle begins to tighten around the Obama administration, he comes out and starts screaming about aliens. Isn't that amazing? Look, I'm at the NBA All-Star game. It's all a distraction. Bread and circuses. It's all a distraction. And it's a distraction from this. This is like a perfect, rings like a bell, like email. Get a load of this. Forget the flight logs. And this is a guy who has done a ton of research on the Epstein files that have been released. I call upon the Trump administration to release all of them. I'm not defending the Trump administration in the way that they've done this release. I think it's done unspeakably unnecessary damage. It's silly. It was unnecessary. Again, I'm a huge champion of the administration and what they're doing. I'm not going to get blackpilled. But there's like a way to handle these things. There's a way not to handle these things. I just think that this, I just agree with the J.D. Vance style of handling it. You remember those J.D. Vance tweets? It's like, great. ALX knows them. The J.D. Vance tweets. Hey, remember that time we found out there was a pedophile island and all of the elites were going there? That was weird. Maybe someone should do something about that. Like, that's the energy that you needed to bring. J.D. Vance had these like great banger tweets. I think it was from the year 2022, something like that. And it was J.D. Vance being like, yeah, remember that? That sucked. We should do something about that. Anyway, that's what the American people want. I pray that we continue in prosecutions of the Epstein list, because these are the kind of messages that you can find if you actually do a little bit of digging. This is what they want to distract you from. Bread and circuses. Look, Obama's at the NBA All-Star game. Forget the flight logs. The email is worse. December 2024, 6 years after Epstein's conviction, sex trafficking. Bill Gates hosts a breakfast with billionaire donors. Now, what do you think about this, chat? What do you think? I really do think that there is a definitive distinction between Jeffrey Epstein, pre and post his pleading guilty. Go look at all the documents and go read the court reports, as we have. He pled guilty to pedophilia. He pled guilty to child trafficking. He was trafficking underage women from my state of Florida. This was in the year 2006, trial through 2008. Guilty conviction and plead out in 2008, okay? So, of course, he should be in prison. He should have died. He did, technically die in prison if you believe he's dead. Not sure I do. But nonetheless, Jeffrey Epstein, if he was properly charged for this, Klein, what is it? What's a charge? Yeah, for child sex trafficking. What like you should be able to get? I think it's something like you could add up like 100+ years in prison, right? If they would properly charge Jeffrey Epstein. We shouldn't even be talking about this, is all I'm saying, right? We shouldn't be talking about this. So Jeffrey Epstein, if properly charged in 2008, he should have been put away forever, right? 15 years to life. 15 years to life. The DOJ website right here, in case you're wondering, Citizen's Guide to U.S. Federal Law on Child Sex Trafficking. Okay. This is what Jeffrey Epstein pled to. This law is not new. This law was on the books. They could have just put him in jail for life. Instead, they let him off. Anyway, I do believe that there needs to be a moral distinction between hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein before he pleads guilty to child predation, because the guy did try and keep some of this stuff secret, right? And maybe there's just people that were having like emails with him or having dinners with him. And then after, then there's the after, when you know he's a convicted sex predator and pedophile. There's two very distinct worlds. So this email is from after we know he's a convicted pedophile. Here we go. 2014, he pleads guilty. He pled guilty 6 years before. And here's Bill Gates. Bill Gates is hosting a breakfast with billionaire donors. Afterward, he emails Jeffrey Epstein a detailed readout of each attendee. Epstein writes back, coaching the richest man in the world on what he did wrong and how to fix it. His advice: the idea, first and foremost, is about sharing. I, Bill Gates, will be your partner, your friend, your colleague in this giving arena. Epstein then offers to personally run the next meeting. I suggest we have another meeting. Let me run it. I'll moderate it. This wasn't a social relationship, as Bill Gates has said. Bill Gates, hey, a couple of dinners. Give me that, if that clip's not already loaded, give me that dinner. It's just a couple of dinners. Yeah, he's dead, That's all Bill Gates has always just said this. There's a couple of dinners. That's not it. This was an operational relationship where Epstein was running Bill Gates' entire donor class world, a strategic advisor on his philanthropic fundraising structure. The donor advised fund, the same financial architecture documented across the entire investigation. At the bottom of the email is this: any interesting people visiting the island over the holidays? Uh-oh, here it is. Bill Gates' invitation to the island. Bill Gates, I never went to the island. Oh, really? Let's read. Of course, you and your family are welcome. Eva, Kathy Rumler, women that Melinda might take comfort with. Oh, would you look at that? Kathy Rumler. Where have we heard that name exactly? Where have we heard that name? Yeah, this is Barack Obama's personal attorney. This is Obama's personal attorney, that was White House counsel, that we learned yesterday engaged in a cover-up of a prostitution scandal through a bunch of Secret Service members under the bus. Kathy Rumler is someone who brought in Jeffrey Epstein into the Obama White House in order to help message, and we know this, we have the emails, we have the documents, we put them up on screen. Danny grabbed them from the production yesterday. Kathy Rumler, Jeffrey Epstein had his hooks directly into the Obama administration. He was writing press releases for Obama. This is what they want you distracted from. Jeffrey Epstein was writing press releases for Barack Obama. Yes, I'm well aware that there are photos from the late 90s of Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein at, shagadelic parties, right? In a club 50, whatever. Okay? This is totally and entirely different. By the way, Donald Trump, of course, kicks Jeffrey Epstein out, acts as a federal and local whistleblower against Jeffrey Epstein, gets the dude prosecuted, never sees the man again, throws him directly to the curb, gets into office as president, immediately signs an executive order against child sex trafficking, uses that executive order to roll up Jeffrey Epstein and his entire operation, or at the very least Ghislaine Maxwell too, throw them in prison. Donald Trump, the unsung hero of this entire story. That's just a matter of fact. Jeffrey Epstein, to I mean, do you believe Jeffrey Epstein? Constantly writing in his email, I wish I had shit on Trump. He's constantly writing that. Look at this. Trump never got a massage. He's constantly writing about this. I wish I had Trump. I wish I had him. If he'd just like done something with one of the young girls. He says the exact opposite about Bill Gates and Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton, he said Bill Clinton likes these girls young. Bill Gates, he says Bill Gates gave his wife STDs because of all the Russian hookers I procured for him. That's what he says about Bill Gates, among many other things. Back to this email. Kathy Rumler, Barack Obama's personal lawyer, going to Epstein Island? Oh my. Oh no. And what happened with Kathy Rumler, who brought Epstein who hired Jeffrey Epstein effectively for the Obama administration? What happened to her? Oh, as soon as she got kicked out because of a scandal, trying to cover up a prostitution scandal for an Obama donor, Kathy Rumler got a plum job inside the Rothschilds Bank, set up by Jeffrey Epstein. Would you look at that? He's invited Bill Gates to and his family to Epstein Island, name-dropping Obama's former White House counsel as somebody who's be there. Gates has a relationship with Epstein, Gates says his relationship with Epstein was limited to dinners. Do we have that clip? Let's go ahead and play it. The most evil clip you'll ever see, except for I'm about to play you a Hillary Clinton one that even tops this. Here we go.
And, I've said I regretted having those dinners, and there's absolutely nothing new on that.
Is there a lesson for you, for anyone else looking at this?
Well, he's dead, so in general, you always have to be careful.
Look at him smile. Look at that. Bill Gates doesn't smile very often. Look at this smile. Look at this smirk on his face. Bill Gates totally had Epstein killed. He was probably part of his being killed. It's like, come on, man. Look at this. Look at this. Look at that. Dude, totally evil. Totally evil. You're Hillary Clinton. We came, we saw, he died. People are demons, man. So anyway, let me just show you the email. We always show you our documents. We always show you the evidence. Here we go. Show your work. Here's the email. You can go ahead and find it. Go ahead and find it in the on the DOJ's website right now. This is Jeffrey Epstein coaching Bill Gates and then inviting him to the island. Amazing. And then saying that he's going to go run the meetings next. And he says that Obama's lawyer is going to the island. So it's going to be a great time. So sick of the lies, people. I'm so sick of them. I'm so sick of these scumbags. And Hillary Clinton is finally getting pressed on this. First, ladies and gentlemen, our partner, American Financing. Make sure that you have a financial future that is free of drama and free of these creatures that run our financial institutions, because they are totally evil. High-interest credit card debt is totally evil. It's immoral. I speak out against it. 20 and 30% interest rates, again, usury rates. American Financing can reconsolidate any of your credit card debt into the low fives using your home equity. It's a good company, okay? Even President Trump says that these interest rates are immoral and need to be capped. Nonetheless, they're not, because of powerful lobbies. Lobbies probably driven by the same people that were in league, frankly, with Jeffrey Epstein, because you know how connected he was into these financial institutions and what they think of you. You can read that in the emails too. Anyway, American Financing, trying to help that out. Call American Financing today at 888-528-1219. That's 888-528-1219. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. AmericanFinancing.net/Benny. Okay, Hillary Clinton. Let's jump on in here. Hillary Clinton finally asked about Jeffrey Epstein. I can't wait to respond to this one. She was asked about this in a BBC interview, and she was dragged effectively, the BBC interview. And I just want to pop one thing up on screen. It's absolutely critical. Oh, there you go. There's the, we came, we saw, he died. Do you have this photo? Yeah, if you don't already have it. This is critical. The timeline is so important on this kind of stuff. Okay, timeline is so important. What is this? Well, you've all seen this. Ghislaine Maxwell at Clinton's wedding. What year did Chelsea Clinton get married, Klein? You know? What year did Chelsea Clinton get married? Let's remember, Jeffrey Epstein pled guilty. Jeffrey Epstein pled guilty to being a pedophile and a child trafficker in 2008. Oh, no. So Chelsea Clinton got married in 2010. The Epstein whistleblowers, like Virginia Roberts, for instance, called Jeffrey Epstein a lunkhead, said he wasn't particularly smart, and that Ghislaine Maxwell was the one operating the marionette. She was the one who was actually operating the whole thing. Of course, her father was an Israeli spy, got a state funeral. Mossad was there. Robert Maxwell is her dad. Ghislaine Maxwell, clearly connected. Here's Ghislaine Maxwell sitting there, front row place of honor at Bill Clinton and Hillary Clinton's only daughter's wedding. So if the Clintons are going to sit there and tell us, as they will in this little interview, that they have no connection to Jeffrey Epstein, F off. We were born, but we weren't born yesterday. F off. Bill Clinton, of course, didn't just have a philanthropic relationship with Jeffrey Epstein. There are numerous photos of him with sex-trafficked women on his lap, sitting in a hot tub with these chicks. Pretty sure the chicks are naked in the hot tub with Bill Clinton. I mean, what you're about to hear is Hillary Clinton say, it was just philanthropy. Does this look like philanthropy to you? You have the shagadelic, the totally cool shagadelic brothers up there in their velvet shirts, all these trafficked women naked in hot tubs with Bill. Okay, this is what she calls philanthropic activities. I'm sure there's plenty of I'm sure there's plenty of philanthropy, philanthropy going on underneath the Oval Office desk, right? Like this is clearly the way that Hillary Clinton is going to couch all of this. It's amazing. What a wicked relationship. Don't marry a feminist, man. I'm just saying, like these relationships, these like left-wing relationships always end up like this. You can see it with AOC and her husband. AOC is saying there's no such thing as white people. AOC is married to like pretty much the whitest guy to ever live. Dude is straight up like translucent. Ginger. The White Walker. He's married to a White Walker. Okay? The guy is the color of like Wonder Bread in the middle of the Antarctic. Look at this. He knows. No such thing as white people. This is the image of there's no such thing as white people. Yeah, I made a huge mistake. All right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, moving on. Here's Hillary Clinton. Hey, Hillary, what's your relationship with Epstein? Let's go.
Do you regret the links that there have been?
You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about.
Okay, I gotta stop. I'm gonna play the whole clip, but I gotta stop here. I can't take it. Okay, I can't take it. I don't lie to you. I've never lied to you. I won't ever lie to you. I don't like lies being told. I get like the hair stands up the back of my neck. I get angry when like people are openly lying to our audience.
You know, we have no links. You
do have links.
A very
okay, so I'm going to go line by line. So Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell started and funded the initiative, the Clinton Global Initiative. They got the first $1 million that was put into the Clinton Global Initiative. That came from Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. What do you mean you have no links? Jeffrey Epstein is seen on the White House visitor logs 17 times. Bill Clinton flew 27 times on the pedophile's jet. What are you talking about? You have no links. Like photos of Ghislaine Maxwell and Jeffrey Epstein inside of the living quarters in the White House. Here's one of them. What on earth are you talking about? Like your Mossad handlers paying you a visit, because that's exactly what's going on here. It's like the famous photo on the jet. So we have no links, says Hillary Clinton. 27 different times on the plane, 17 different personal White House invitations. Okay.
Clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work.
Took some rides on the airplane for the charitable work. Here we go. Please put up the. Let's just see. Let's see what charitable work. No. Hot tub. Yeah. Like what does charitable work look like for Bill Clinton? Oh well, here's one. Here's a good one. Here you go. Bill Clinton literally shoving his face with a trafficking victim, literally going face first, shoving his face full with the trafficking victim. And then swimming in some type of, swimming in some giant ensconced pool, like some marble pool in some marble palace with Ghislaine Maxwell in a bikini, and then some sex trafficking victim in a bikini. And then she's wearing nothing in the hot tub next to him, as Bill Clinton's sitting back like this. This is the philanthropy work that they are this about. There you go. This is what philanthropy looks like to Hillary Clinton. Okay. Sorry,
I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions. And
on a few occasions? What are you talking about? She went. Listen to this. Listen to this on Ghislaine Maxwell.
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So
thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. They funded the Clinton Global Initiative, you witch. Did thousands of people go to your wedding? Look at this. Ghislaine Maxwell at her daughter's wedding. Her only daughter's wedding. After Jeffrey Epstein pleads, this is 3 years after Jeffrey Epstein pled guilty to being a pedophile. Here's his handler at your wedding. Such trash. Here we go. Continue.
It to me is not something that is really at the heart of what this matter is about. They are accused, and in both cases were convicted of horrific crimes against girls and women. That should be the focus. And we are more than happy to say what we know, which is very limited and totally unrelated to their behavior or their crimes. And we want to do it in public because let's make this transparent.
There are calls for another individual who denies wrong.
We have searched every record that there is. We've used AI to search every record there is. Never once has Hillary Clinton called for the release of the Epstein files. Ever.
Doing to
okay?
Go before,
all this is a lie. So I can
Congress on
count.
this
And count.
matter.
6 lies so far.
Andrew Mountbatten Windsor, formerly Prince Andrew. Do you think he should testify?
I think everybody should testify. Look,
including the former prince?
I think everybody should testify who is asked to testify. I just want it to be fair. I want everybody treated the same way. That's not true for my husband and me because other witnesses.
That's totally true. You're the ones who are asking for special treatment. We've had every member of the committee on this damn show. You're the ones who've refused to answer questions under oath. Everybody else, Bill Barr, they've done some tough interviews. Ghislaine Maxwell, Bill Barr, Alex Acosta, all of them have gone in under oath. Why the hell they didn't ask Alex Acosta if Jeffrey Epstein belonged to Intel, I don't know. Seems ridiculous that they didn't. Kind of gives away the game there. But nonetheless, Hillary, again, here's more
were
lies.
asked to testify. They gave written statements under oath. We offered that. They want to pull us. Why did they want to pull us into this? To divert attention from President Trump. This is not complicated.
This is not complicated. This is not complicated. What difference at this point does it make? Hillary Clinton. Clearly feeling the pressure. They have no answers. It's totally indefensible. It's too bad that they don't do actual real interviews, man. Too bad. New from the New York Times, Epstein files reveal scope of Ghislaine Maxwell's role in Clinton's circle. Jeffrey Epstein's longtime companion helped advise and kick off the Clinton Global Initiative and arrange for millions of dollars in funding, the email shows. Oh, no. Oh, no. Ladies and gentlemen, Roger Stone is one of the experts on the Clintons, their filthy money, their dirty background, up in just a second. But first, Patriot Mobile, our partner here at this show, and will be assisting in locking in a great super stream that we will have for the State of the Union next week. It's going to be awesome. We're going to be streaming live from inside of the Speaker's office in the dome of the Capitol. It's going to be so much fun. We're really hyped about it. Patriot Mobile is going to be our partner, going to be our streaming partner for this. They've been our partner all throughout the conventions, and it's just, I mean, listen, when you're doing these kind of streams, you want to be like readily connected. We use mobile hotspots from Patriot Mobile everywhere that we go. They deliver premium service to us, keep us connected to you, and that's what matters the most. Take a stand today and get on board with the only Christian conservative wireless provider in the world. Go to patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT to get a promo code Benny for a free month of service. patriotmobile.com/Benny. Call 972-PATRIOT to make the switch today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me live now, the legend who needs absolutely no introduction, Roger Stone Jr. Roger, what up, my G? How you doing, man?
Thanks. Great to be with you, Benny. This is all pretty incredible in view of the fact that Jeffrey Epstein provided the seed capital for the Clinton Foundation and for the Clinton Global Initiative. He also was a heavy donor to Hillary's Senate race, the New York Democrat Party, and of course, his good friend, Senator Chuck Schumer. Interestingly, also, the Clinton Foundation funds a nonprofit called Terra Mar, headed by Ghislaine Maxwell, theoretically an environmental think tank that has a young interns program, creating a whole new grooming pool for Jeffrey Epstein. Terra Mar is completely and totally financed by the Clinton Global Initiative.
So, yeah, maybe you can break down, we just played the Hillary Clinton clip. She's finally being asked on the record about this. Totally remarkable, by the way, Roger. You've been running successful campaigns for the better part of the last 40 years. It's kind of remarkable that the Clintons have never been asked about Epstein. And we've scoured the world, and we have very, very good researchers at the site that cannot find. We found two instances that the Clintons were asked about Epstein's. One, Bill Clinton got surrounded by security and was whisked away. And the other one, Hillary Clinton had her goons like literally rip a guy's shirt off and drag him out of the building when he asked about Epstein. And so this is the first time they've ever had to answer questions about this. Here's the footage on your screen here. The first time they've ever had to answer questions about this. Why is that, Roger?
Look, I think you have to put this in the correct chronological order. Donald Trump cuts off Jeffrey Epstein in late 2004 over an incident at Mar-a-Lago involving a young Virginia Roberts Giuffre, then Virginia Roberts. He is barred from Trump's properties and from his life. He goes on the next year to be exposed as a sex criminal. He is tried in Florida and been given a slap on the wrist, seemingly because the agency kind of put pressure, and then the whole matter was sealed. Other than the Palm Beach Post going to court over many years, those records became unsealed, and we learn that they busted what could have been 33 cases of child sex trafficking and 22 cases of statutory rape, which is the case given to him by the police chief of Palm Beach County. But Acosta busted this to a simple slap on the wrist. The Clintons continue to socialize with Epstein. They continue to take enormous $1 million campaign contributions. Clinton's state spokesperson said that he was only on the plane a few times in his post-presidency. That number would actually be 27. The most notorious is when he and Jeffrey Epstein and their entourages flew to the other side of the globe to meet the Sultan of Brunei another notorious pedophile, he and his brother, and pick up a multi-million-dollar check for the Clinton Foundation.
So, since you do know Palm Beach culture so well and you are familiar with that ecosystem, I just wanted to get your answer on this because I was shocked when Chairman Comer had Alex Acosta in, and he said that actually he wasn't asked in his deposition about this famous line, Jeffrey Epstein belongs to Intel, lay off him. This is something that's been enraging to me, and of course it colors the Bush administration, who was in power at the time. Here, it was Robert Mueller who was in charge of the FBI, and this was the year 2006 to 2008 when Jeffrey Epstein was being charged with this stuff in Florida, these heinous crimes.
Let's be very, very clear. A lawyer I know, a lawyer whose name you would recognize, a lawyer who is a member of the Federalist Society, was involved in the efforts to prepare Alex Acosta for his hearing. And when in their preparations, he was asked, what are you going to say if they ask you why you disposed of the Epstein case as you did? And that is when he said, in front of a witness, I believe, I guess I'll just tell them the truth. He was from the agency. I was contacted by the agency and told to seal it, which is what he did. He sealed it and covered it up. So look, it's absolutely clear that Clinton is on the island, contrary to what he's ever said, according to the sworn testimony of Virginia Roberts Giuffre and two other women who refused to settle with Epstein and went forward with extensive depositions. The FAA records that were published in my book in 2015, The Clintons' War on Women, demonstrate that Bill was clearly on the island. So yet another lie has been exposed.
So, okay, so you're saying that based on direct evidence of somebody who's involved, that the agency, meaning the CIA, directly contacted Alex Acosta and said Epstein belongs to us. And that seems to match. I mean, we've been able to pull records like this one. Here's one from the Evening Post.
But what's amazing is that no one asked him about that under oath when he was there recently.
Isn't that crazy? Isn't that insane?
Makes no sense. Yeah. I mean, everybody has heard this story. I suspect that the lawyer in question, who's very well known, Benny, has told numerous people what he heard. So I think it's abundantly clear. When Steve Hoffenberg, who, when I wrote my book on the Clintons, there's the longest chapter in the book is about Jeffrey Epstein and their connection to them. Steve Hoffenberg, who went to prison, I think the largest Ponzi in history, but who was a source for my book because he had trained Epstein and he knew him intimately, insisted that Epstein worked for Israeli intelligence. He didn't offer proof of that, but everything else he told me for my book about Epstein and the Clintons turned out to be accurate.
So Epstein worked for Israeli intelligence and probably had a through line to the CIA, and they were working together. Is that what you believe?
I suspect, just based on the research that I've done and everything I've read, that he was like a gun for hire, a blackmailer for hire, a doer of dirty deeds for hire. Some evidence that he was involved in arms dealing with Khashoggi back in the Middle East. There's some evidence that he worked for the Saudis. There's some evidence that he has probably worked for our agencies. Yes, I think he was a gun for hire, and he dealt in dirty deeds.
So then, I mean, eventually the CIA is going to have to answer for the whole, he belongs to us, let him off with pedophilia, because that just seems like this case. I mean, if you look through this case, Roger, we shouldn't have to ever talk about Epstein again. Right? You and I should never have. This shouldn't be a thorn in Trump's side. This shouldn't be a thorn in anyone's paw. The guy should be rotting in jail for the rest of his life. All of these, we just pulled up the federal statutes, for instance, and the federal statutes say 25 to life for each incident of underage sex trafficking.
Benny, we are still fighting right now in the Congress to learn the entire truth about John F. Kennedy's assassination. How many years later, we're still fighting to get from whom? The CIA. So you just want to think, just because they're confronted with the facts that the deep state will roll over. Look, just this last week, if there was ever any doubt that there is a deep state, When Richard Nixon was pardoned, he was required to sit confidentially before a grand jury for 6 hours and be questioned on various things. And in that questioning, there was a section that until recently has both been legally sealed and classified. Recently unclassified, James Rosen of Newsmax caught it. And basically, we learned something I knew back and was in both my books on Nixon. The Joint Chiefs of Staff on behalf of the deep state was spying on Richard Nixon. They had a naval officer in the White House going through file drawers, briefcases, desktops, desk drawers, copying everything he could lay his hands on, working as an aide to Alexander Haig, and privy to all kinds of communications, spying on Richard Nixon. It would go from this naval yeoman to an Admiral Welander, who would basically set it up and send it, organize it, and then send it to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. So in other words, they spied on Richard Nixon. He learned about it. He elected not to charge them with treason, which he could have done. But it proves that there is a deep state, because the CIA most definitely would have approved of this. The defense contractors were. Nixon was for peace. You see, he ended the war in Vietnam. They didn't like that. He reached a strategic arms limitation agreement with the Soviets. They didn't like that. The deep state didn't like that. He ended the war faster than the Pentagon wanted. The defense contractors made $1 million out of that. They did not want the opening to China, but I stress that at the time that he opened the door to China to play them off against the Russians to get that strategic arms limitation agreement, China was a dirt poor, backward agrarian society. Few homes had running water or toilets. There was no electricity in the rural areas. It was not until Bill Clinton gave them most favored nation trading status 30 years later. That's what makes China the dangerous superpower it is today.
So we've talked about this article. We've read this article. It's astonishing. I think it paints Richard Nixon as one of the all-time heroes of the 21st century, be it that he decided to not reveal this. He could have saved his own ass by just like talking about, hey, listen, they're spying on me, right? Like this is a deep state coup.
There's no question. And James Rosen, this is the second time he's come up with a blockbuster, because roughly 2 years ago, documents were declassified that proved the CIA knew about the Watergate break-in in advance, infiltrated the burglar team. 4 of the 8 Watergate burglars are actually on the payroll of the CIA. James McCord and E. Howard Hunt are both veterans of the CIA. Both have personal relationships with Dick Helms, the director of the CIA. And they knew that 4 of the 6 were on the payroll. This came to the attention of Senator Howard Baker, the leader of the the minority on the Senate Watergate Committee. He knew the CIA was involved in the break-in, knew about it in advance, but he was not permitted to put it in the minority report. The Watergate Special Counsel, a guy named Nick Ackerman, who you can often see him on MSNBC trying to act like a non-partisan, using his Watergate special prosecutor, one of the most vicious liberals ever. He knew the CIA. He was briefed. He did nothing about that information. So James Rosen has now busted 2 huge stories that show that Nixon was taken down by the same cabal that killed Kennedy, the same cabal that tried to kill Reagan, the same cabal that tried to take out Donald J. Trump. They tried to keep him off the ballot. They tried to impoverish him. They tried to throw him in jail. Indeed, Benny, they tried to kill him. Not once, but twice.
When was the last time we had a real president, Roger? Well, if this has been going on since like post-war Reconstruction, what was our last real election? If they can kill Kennedy, if they can assassinate Nixon, this is just a form of assassination. And of course, they did. It was just the hand of God that prevented Trump from having his head blown off on live TV.
But what makes it a lot more difficult today, Benny, is the mass communications of the internet. If the internet had existed, say, in 1974, 73, 74, Nixon might have survived Watergate. His problem was with a monolithic national mainstream media, ABC, CBS, NBC, a handful of news magazines like Newsweek and Time dominating the news. There were no national newspapers, not yet. But the radio networks aligned with the television networks. Nixon had no platform from which to counterpunch, no place to where his side could be heard. All of that changes in America. It continues to get worse and worse as they cancel and censor us until Elon Musk buys Twitter and sets it free. Is it perfect? No. Is it damn good? Yes, it is.
I just want to, and I think that so many of the revelations about Jeffrey Epstein and that operation have been able to be kept secret, and so many people have been able to escape because there isn't a robust independent news ecosystem. Now there is, and it's causing a lot of chaos. I want to pop up your book here really quickly, Roger, because you have of course written the book. I've called you the most vindicated man in all of America when it comes to Nixon and the Clintons and so on. It's pretty remarkable, but you have been just completely been proven right on all of this. What was the Clintons? What do you think will be the result of the investigation into the Clintons? What was, if in your estimation, their engagement with Epstein? Like, what was it about? Was it just about business? Was it just about sex? Was it just about the trafficking? Like, can you distill this down to its truth?
Sure. Well, chapter 7 of my book, you go to EpsteinTruthBook.com, EpsteinTruthBook.com if you want to grab it. But the longest chapter of the book is entitled Orgy Island, a name I stole from my friend Sean Hannity. I think for both Clintons, it's about money. For Bill, I think it is about sex and money. In her sworn testimony, Virginia Roberts, later Virginia Roberts Giuffre, who they want us to believe committed suicide only several months ago, which I think is unlikely or at least suspicious, said that she saw Bill Clinton at a party on the island, and that Epstein has flown in 2 17-year-old twins for his amusement. She didn't say that she saw him acting inappropriately because she was removed and taken to a room to service someone else for sex, according to her sworn testimony. So Bill Clinton was on the island, and he has a great deal to lose. I think for him it was about sex and money. But it is amazing the way they have skated on their post-sexual Florida sex conviction relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
We do believe that a proper inquiry into this would most likely expose all of it. I really hope that the House gets you on board. You should be advising the House. I told this to Comer when he was on. I was like, bro, you missed asking Acosta about if Epstein belongs to Intel. Nobody asked that. Like, well, like that's crazy, man. I'll happily advise you, but I would submit Roger Stone to frankly advise on these questions if the Clintons do in fact come in.
Benny, look, the committee's done great work on dissecting the Clinton Foundation and the Clinton Global Initiative, of two of the greatest play for pay scams of all time, taking millions of dollars from foreign countries for all kinds of major favors. It's treason at the highest level. Does that mean the Clintons will face prosecution? I kind of doubt it. Sadly, I kind of doubt it.
Well, nonetheless, Roger, you've always been ringing like a bell on this program. Here's a brand new post from The Blaze, newly revealed documents back Tucker Carlson and Roger Stone's take that Nixon was undone by a coup. This is now, again, Richard Nixon is in the twilight years of the generation that witnessed all of this firsthand. Nixon is now being venerated and is now being vindicated. It's a wild thing. There's a lot of Nixon love in my timeline now, Roger. You got to love seeing that.
Well, Benny, in fact, what they speak to here, something that Tucker Carlson correctly reported, but I think I first wrote about. We hear a lot about the so-called Watergate tapes, that people are obsessed with the things Nixon said in the tapes, but there is a tape recording of a meeting in the Oval Office between President Richard Nixon and the CIA director, Richard Helms. And in that meeting, Nixon is essentially demanding the cover of the CIA in the upcoming storm that will be Watergate. He's also threatening him. He actually says at one point, look, he says, I know who shot John, you see. It's there for everyone to see. And it proves that Nixon knew that the agency had been involved in JFK's assassination.
You know, on some level, and I know he's he's being proven out to be a very honorable man because he took these secrets to the grave. On some level, I wish, Roger, he would have just crashed out and just said, you know what? Here's everything I know. You know, what are you gonna do? Right? Well, I mean, kill me? You know, on some level, it's like you're almost too honorable, right?
Well, look, it's very clear, by the way, in 1960, that election was stolen from him. Not just in Illinois, as some liberals like to point out, just flipping the electoral vote of Illinois alone would not unelect Jack Kennedy, but he was robbed blind in Illinois. It was also robbed blind in Texas, where Lyndon Johnson controlled the vote counting machinery. And Dwight Eisenhower, the president, Governor Tom Dewey, the Republican governor of New York, the 1944 and 48 nominee for president, both urged Nixon to challenge that election. The New York Herald Tribune did like an 8-part series documenting the fraud. It's not online. I had to go in a dusty warehouse and crawl around in my belly to find the microfiche of it. But Nixon knew that if he challenged the election, he'd go down in history as the sorest loser of all time and not have another shot at the presidency. So he did not put the country through a constitutional and legal crisis, and he lived to fight another day.
Well, and this is the result of that victory. You'll never see an election like that. I mean, maybe God willing, but I don't think you'll ever see an election like this ever again. And Roger Stone was right at the center of all of it. The absolute legend, Roger Stone. Follow him. He's got 1 million. We're just going to round up. He's got 1 million subscribers on X here. And again, obviously, a living legend who's been at the front seat of history. That is for certain. Godspeed, Roger.
Benny, great to be with you, and great gel as always.
Yeah, I just need the fashion notes, my friend. Yeah.
God bless you, my friend.
Thank you. I have no idea. I don't actually know how old Roger Stone is, but he's he's lived to see a lot. I assume he's in maybe perhaps his 80s. I don't know. That's a great question. 73. My apologies, Roger. Anyway, 73 years old. I don't know. I mean, the guy clearly, you know, he posts videos of him dancing. The guy clearly is taking care of himself. He's in good shape. Lives in Florida. Can get outside, get some sun, get some fresh air. But you also got to watch what you eat. Masa chips are what we eat in my household because they are a crunchy, tasty treat. They are good for you. They are made with 3 all-natural ingredients: corn and salt and beef tallow. And that's it. And they're so satisfying and they're delicious. No seed oils, no mystery chemicals, just real food. Eat real food. Masa chips are available at my table for virtually every single meal, and my wife is extremely picky. They're also available at your local Sprouts Market, or you can order Masa chips. Give Masa a try. Go to masachips.com/Benny. Use code Benny for 25% off your first order, or click the link in the video description. Scan the QR code right here. Claim this delicious offer. Don't feel like ordering online. Again, you can find them at your nationwide Sprouts supermarkets. Go pick up a bag. Masa chips, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so an update here on John Thune and the Save America Act. Obviously something very big for us. Thune guarantees voter ID bill will hit the Senate. Despite Schumer, Democrat opposition, we will have a vote. Oh my. Senate Majority Leader John Thune is ready to put a Senate Democrats test on voter legislation. The Safeguarding America Voter Eligibility, SAVE Act, has earned the backing of 50 Senate Republicans, including Thune, which is enough to break a key procedural hurdle. Whether it can pass from the Senate to President Trump's desk, for now, an unlikely scenario if lawmakers take the traditional path of the upper chamber. Still, Thune wants Democrats on the spot when the midterm elections creep closer. We will have a vote, Thune told Fox News Digital. His comments came at a crossroads from his comments came as he crisscrossed, his home state of South Dakota. He and Republicans and their respective states are selling their legislative achievements. I'm not sure what many of those are, but nonetheless, this is one, I suppose. Thune viewed the opportunity of a floor vote as a way for the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and his caucus to explain to voters why they would block the enshrining of voter ID, proof of citizenship, to vote. As we've said yesterday, if they actually believed in this stuff, because now Obama and Hillary Clinton are coming out, talking points against mass criminal invasion. It's not migration, it's an invasion because there's no assimilation. They would back the SAVE Act. So is Barack Obama back the SAVE Act? No, of course not. He's campaigning against it. Same with Hillary Clinton. They don't believe any of it. They're saying it for politics. So I love it. Make them own the vote. What you really got to do is you got to do the talking filibuster, as has been talked about on this channel time and time again. Force them to actually physically filibuster this bill. All right. Another one bites the dust. Billionaire hotel magnate and potential presidential election contender Pritzker. This would be Thomas Pritzker, not J.B. Pritzker, but definitely a relation. Obviously, Pritzker is the executive chairman. He's the cousin of J.B. Pritzker. He's the Illinois super Democrat. He has stepped down because of his connections to Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. Billionaire Hyatt Hotel heir Thomas Pritzker stepping down from the corporate board of directors over his admitted association with Jeffrey Epstein. Pritzker apologized for his connection to the pedophile. Good stewardship means protecting Hyatt, particularly from the context of my association with Jeffrey Epstein. Uh-oh. Well, I exercise terrible judgment, he says. Oh, yeah, it's amazing how these people, it's amazing how they do this. I exercise terrible judgment. Terrible judgment, dude. You were on a pedo island. On a pedo's planet. What are you talking about, terrible judgment? You committed a crime. You committed a crime. There's no excuse for failing to distance myself sooner, Pritzker says. Pritzker featured in the most recent drop of the Department of Epstein's flight logs of the Lolita Express. Dude, you're already a billionaire. That's what I think is remarkable. These guys are already really rich. It's not like you need the plane. Get your own plane. You're Bill Clinton. It's not like you need the plane. You can get your own plane. You're Bill Clinton. Anybody will loan you a plane. These guys don't need the plane. They need something else that Jeffrey Epstein is offering. Think about it this way. Can Bill Gates or Bill Clinton just go to a bar in downtown Boston and pick up a chick? Go to a pub? No, of course not. You can't do that. These guys they have to have these things procured for them. It's dirty business. The women got to know what's going on. They got to be told. They got to be managed. They got to be silenced, right? Like they did the Virginia Roberts. There's got to be a level of protection there. And that's what Jeffrey Epstein was offering. That filthy, dirty connector. And it wasn't just for like the women and the underage and the sex. It wasn't just for that. That's just one of the things that he provided. He provided all these other connections with arms deals and security deals and trades. He was a dark arts operator between the public and private sector. That's where Jeffrey Epstein lived. He was in that illegal space. Today you'd call it insider trading. But really all it is like boutique services for people that want to get illegal stuff done and make a fortune and do some very, very evil and demonic things while doing it. This is what Jeffrey Epstein operated. This is how he operated. And there's a lot of them out there. This is why we are constantly pressuring Pam Bondi and the DOJ. You must start locking people up. You have to actually prosecute one pedophile. We need to prosecute one pedophile. We need to prosecute a pedophile. We need to put one of these guys in jail or public execution, whatever. Without doing that, then what was all this for? Epstein, let's see here. Epstein Pritzker was among the billionaires who issued with subpoenas in relation to Jeffrey Epstein. Probe in the U.S. Virgin Islands, J.P. Morgan Chase turned a blind eye to Epstein's sex trafficking. He was formally identified, unsealed papers by a judge, secrecy order, and his father started the Hyatt brand, now has 1,000 properties in 70 countries. So he's, here we go, another one bites the dust. I mean, that's fine. Like, it's fine that these guys are resigning. I would much rather them be in prison. I would much rather them be in prison or harsher penalties. Like, we need a full investigation. What did the Pritzker family do with Epstein exactly? You know what? Like, we need an actual thorough prosecution from the DOJ on this. Like one of so many examples. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's our show for today. Our verse of the day from Mark 9:37. Whoever receives one child such as this in my name receives me, and whoever receives me receives not me, but the one who sent me. Whoever receives one child, says the Christ, in my name. So whoever protects, by receive, they mean like to protect, to comfort, to be there for children, the most innocent among us. The purest state of humanity is found in a child, and the way that they view the world. I know this. I have little children at home. It is so precious these years. Whoever receives me receives not just me, but the one who sent me. So the Spirit of God living within these little children is what Christ says time and time again. He says, protect these little children. And that's what we have been doing for now. I don't know, ALX, how many years have we been talking about Epstein on this channel? This is not some new thing. How long have we been going on about this? It has been years. It has been literally the focus ever since we started, frankly, ever since we got going. And so it is go time. I really, really want to see more done. We're going to keep pushing. And this is why, frankly. Ladies and gentlemen, Christ be with you. God be with you on this glorious Tuesday. This is the greatest country on earth. Make sure that you are marching with us, subscribing to the channel, growing our army, ensuring that the Benny Brigade is able to march powerfully into the next couple of news cycles and elections. We make a huge difference. And in the end, the victory is assured. In the end, we win. It's your boy, Benny. See ya.
Do you regret the links that there have been?
You know, we have no links. We have a very clear record that we've been willing to talk about, which my husband has said. He took some rides on the airplane for his charitable work. I don't recall ever meeting him.
Did you ever meet Ghislaine Maxwell?
I did on a few occasions, and thousands of people go to the Clinton Global Initiative. So it, to me, is not something that...
Where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to life. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to light. Liberty to light, bringing liberty to light. From the speeches to debates, Benny sharp like a blade, cutting through the lies, watch the truth cascade. With the warrior's heart, this man never fades. You know it's prime time when Benny invades. From saving the nation to stories untold, the Benny Show's a storm, see the truth unfold. Stay in the loop, let freedom take hold. Salting all the libs, soul never sold. It's the Benny Show, where the truth gon' be, faith and freedom on your TV screen. Stand up strong, battle through the night. The Benny Show's here, bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light. Bringing liberty to light.